criterion, a guardian, a muhaymin, to demonstrate to the people and their belief system where things went wrong.
كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي فالمعالي بالتحدي.
Because their desire is to be happy.
Yeah.
How cool somehow
They like
makes them
it, yeah.
happy.
Meet
Good.
their friends.
So likewise, when the guidance of God came towards different nations, societies, at any time, there was legislations, rules, and guidance. How to conduct your affair. Like, don't cheat, don't lie, don't murder, don't rape. For example, like this. But there are some people who thrived in cheating because they want to get more money, and the only way to do that is to deceive you and exploit your weakness, and so on and so forth. So they will try to somehow suppress this message, and if they tried and had the political authority to do so, they can change this message. So the message of God gets changed like that. So what happens then is the original message of God gets corrupted by the people. And you now have a religion which doesn't show the purer form what it was originally. So it now has a belief saying, oh, you know what, you can believe in God, but you can believe that he has a son as well. Because they love that prophet so much, because he was born of a virgin, I'm going to call him the son of God. And then it didn't stop them there. I'm not going to just call him the son of God, I'm going to call him God the Son. And he became God eventually. So the original message of one God became God being three in one. In Christianity, for example, just to illustrate the point of Christianity. So that got corrupted. Likewise, this happened in various religions. Instead of the pure monotheism, which is called Islam.
Single God,
Yeah, the Tawheed, which is the absolute monotheism of God, absolute oneness of God, got corrupted at different places in different times. God, in his mercy, he often sent many other prophets to the same nation to get them back on track, like the children of Israel. They did not have one prophet only. They had so many, one after the other. But they kept on killing them. But God sent another prophet and so on and so forth, right? So in line of all this, what happened is, the original message got diluted, corrupted, but if you examine it closely, you can still see the remnants of the original message. Like Hinduism, for example, they believe God of thunder, God of rain, God of...
Not really, but I can believe they do,
They have. Every natural forces they deify. But if you examine it with a deeper reflection, it tells you, Ekang Brahma Dityanasti. There is only one God. No two. No second. There is none. There is only one. So ultimately the roots of this monotheistic belief are there, but it got corrupted by people. The difference between all of this religion and Islam is this. Islam is not a new religion. Fact number one. It is the same consistent religion that God sent throughout times, but now this religion is the final message sent to mankind from God. The final message. So it's a completion and culmination and perfection of this message. So if you now consider why, logically speaking, that doesn't get corrupted, because God has taken the role of preserving this religion because he made it final. There is not going to be another prophet coming anymore. There is not going to be another messenger coming anymore. So there is not going to be another book from God coming anymore to reinstate the corruption if it occurred in this final religion. So the final religion is uncorruptible. The final religion is preserved. So as Muslims, we are presenting to you the one and only uncorrupted, pure version of the religion of God, the guidance of God, the way of life of God, the ideology of God that everyone should follow. Everything else, Quran shows as being a guardian where the falsehood entered within it and where the truth remains. So the Quran acts like a criterion, a guardian, a muhaymin, to demonstrate to the people and their belief system where things went wrong. So if at the time of, say, Moses, the prophet, peace be upon him, when Moses came, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to believe in you, that you claim to be a messenger of God, I'm going to follow the laws of Noah that we inherited for centuries before. Doesn't matter if it's corrupt or not. If I said that, then I would not have correct understanding demonstrated from me, and I would not have a salvation or be saved from the punishment that is awaiting for me if I disobey God's messenger. Because every time a new messenger came or comes, he brings about the purity, the clarity of God's message, and may bring additional laws and regulations for man to conduct their affairs. Because society often, as we know, of course not often, always changed with its needs, and new problems arose requiring new guidance. So when Moses came with new guidance, with the same consistent message, it would have been incumbent upon me, obligated on me, to verify that he is indeed the messenger of God, and then follow him. If I did follow him, then I would be successful. And when he came as a Muslim. Shocking, isn't it? He came with the religion of Islam. It's a shocking statement that to hear that, what? Moses was a Muslim, Abraham was a Muslim, Jesus was a Muslim, and they brought Islam. These people don't understand what Islam and Muslim is. In Islam and Muslim are Arabic words, as you now realize. Islam simply means a state of surrender and submission to the will of one and only true God. And whosoever does that is called a Muslim. So if I surrender my will willingly and sincerely to the will of one true God, it makes me a Muslim. Whether I was at the time of Jesus or Moses or any time, because I am a submitter, a worshipper of one God. So all the prophets, they brought Islam, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ brought Islam in its final form. So what we have to do and what you have to do is simple. Verify the person of Prophet Muhammad. Is he indeed the Prophet of God or not? Or is he an imposter? Just claiming to be God, and making a lot of things in the way. And the message that he brought, is he from God, the Quran, or not? What are the falsification tests to say this cannot be from God? He cannot be a messenger of God. If we apply all of this, you can eliminate again all the wrong belief about this person or this guidance, and eventually you will have no other option but to say this has to be from God. It cannot be from Satan, because he says seek refuge with God when you read that book from the accursed Satan. He's your worst enemy. It cannot be from another human being, because the Quran says no one can imitate this Quran. You cannot match a single chapter like it, let alone the whole book. So if the Prophet made this claim and not even the whole community bring this, so you cannot, it's not from the people.
Even the jinn.
It cannot from the spirit world, because they don't even have the power and the ability to bring something like the Quran. So what is the source of the Quran? I'm just giving you some hints how we can arrive at the conclusion that the Quran has to be this book, a guidance from God through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His life, for 40 years of his life, he was not a prophet of God. He was commissioned to be a God from the age of 40. Before that, what was his character like?
He was a good man.
Do you know what
An
the people
honest
call?
man.
Exactly. The people called him as-Sadiq al-Amin, the one who is trustworthy and truthful.
Yeah.
They had no reasons to believe in him for 40 years. This is how they knew him. He can be trusted, and he was always honest. So when he brought the Quran, suddenly, why did people start believing him? Because saying you're lying? No, because what he brought was something that went against their desires and their whims. He said, don't worship these idols. They have no power to harm you or benefit you. These idols they had in Mecca, 361 of them. They made with their own hands these idols, and they say these are gods. They bring close to the God Almighty. The Prophet came from the message that he got from God saying, no, shun, avoid worshipping all these idols. For your Lord, your God, He is the one to be worshipped.
Worship idols,
Yeah, worship the one and only. Don't worship the sun. or the moon, worship the one who created them both.
Right.
So worship him. So don't worship a human being, don't worship a prophet, don't worship the spirits, the one who is able to respond to your prayers, the one who created this universe, the one who gave you life, and the one who will cause you to die. So when the Quran came with all of this, it went against the society, the elite of the society. The whole business is going to now be bankrupt, right? Because the economy they're is on, selling idols and control of the Hajj and the trade routes and so on. They didn't like it, even though they realized that this message was true. So they had this reluctance to accept it because of their whims and desires. So God says, do you not see the person who takes his own desires as his own God? Many people do. They take their own desires as their own God, saying, I don't want to believe in God. I just live my life and I'm happy. I don't have to believe in God and organized religion. God says, you do not think and ponder. Did you create yourself? Did you create the universe?
Did I do it? No, I didn't.
This is what the Quran tells us. Then you realize, of course you didn't create yourself. Of course you didn't come from nothing. Of course you didn't create the heaven and the earth. So why do we have this belief then I don't have to worship God and so on? You know that there is a creator of everything. There's a creator of you who created you and created this universe. And was this all created in a vain and mere play? The Quran says no. Do you not have any sense? How do you think the one who knows and doesn't know are the equal? Of course not. This universe demonstrates that there's a reason for its creation. You know the water, it goes against gravity through the ropes and goes up against the gravity to the top of the tree. Because there's a reason. There's a plan, there's an organization, there's engineering, there's a design. Everything here is designed for a purpose. You are designed. Why are we designed to all die? It's in our genes. It's a program there that we should all die.
Nothing's going to last forever, is it?
Yeah, but we are programmed.
Right.
We are programmed. And we forget often the programmer who programmed it for a reason. So God tells us in the Quran, He created death and life so that He can test you better in conduct. Meaning, we can test ourselves who is better in our conduct, whether we deserve to go to paradise or hellfire. This universe was created, us were placed within it like a test, so that the real life, the eternal life in the hereafter, another life after we die, is where we can see that we whether deserve to go there or not, because He created us with a free will. This is why it's very important. He created us with a limited number of free will, and those who exercise the free will correctly, they are the successful ones. Those who don't and become a rebel, saying, I'm not going to listen to anyone, then they should realize that the consequences of that is going to be bad at the end of the day. In the hereafter, you're not going to go to paradise, you're going to go to hellfire. So this hellfire and paradise is a reality.
Right, you pay the price.
You pay the price, what we believe. If you listen to the prophets and messengers and follow the guidance of God and fulfill your purpose, then God has promised you paradise. Not only He just told you, He promises you paradise. And if you don't do that, then God has told in black and white that if you associate a partner with me in worship, a partner, say, chance created it, so you have all your sympathy for chance and your gratitude to chance,
right.
Or you say this man is God, or this woman is God, or this nation is God, this flag is God, and you revere them with all this utmost respect, and you worship them and you show them gratitude. Paradise is totally forbidden. So the only way to be successful is to do what God asks us to do, to follow the guidance as He's given us. So your role of the mind is quite simple. It's in two parts. Ascertain and verify what is the guidance of God and who's got it. Is it Prophet Muhammad the Prophet and Quran the word of Allah, word of God, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or is it not? Once you verify, the next step is to use your mind then to apply it from what you have learned from the teaching of the Quran and the example teaching from the Prophet. And if you do that, you are in success.
Wait, going back to the original question, how many different religions are there in the world?
So many.
Can I just answer the question that your initial question was?
How do you know this is the right?
How do you know it's the right one?
And everyone else is wrong.
Right. In life, there's never a certainty on anything, 100%.
Yeah.
But we deal with balance of probability, don't we? So if you want to buy that shirt, watch, phone, whatever it might be, what do we generally do? We go on reviews.
Yeah, ask a mate what he liked.
Neighbour, friend, uncle, whatever.
A good opinion goes well.
Right, and
a bad opinion goes against
it. And then when maybe 99% of the people are saying, actually, you know what, that TV is brilliant.
Yeah.
You probably have very little doubt in your mind.
Yeah. It's worth going for.
Right? It's worth going for, isn't it? Yeah. So you go where the evidence takes you, right?
Yeah.
So the Quran says the same thing. It says if you speak the truth, provide your evidence.
Yeah.
So if a non-Muslim says you're wrong, Allah says, okay, provide your evidence as to why I'm wrong. And this is my evidence as to why I'm right. And go wherever the evidence takes you. Now, as an honest person, I'm asking you a question now. If through your investigation, you found actually the Quran is the word of God, on balance of probability, I can't explain it in any other way.
Yeah.
And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, therefore must have been the Prophet of God. I'm asking you an honest question. Would you accept Islam?
I'm an atheist and always have been.
No, but I asked you a very important question. I said through reason, through logic, through investigation, you found out that this Quran could not have come from anyone other than God, on balance of probability. It's the most probable explanation. I'm asking you then, would you go with the evidence and accept Islam?
No.
You still wouldn't accept
I
Islam?
wouldn't believe any religion, personally, because I'm an atheist.
Can I ask you why, though? Why?
Right, I've been out in Asia, and I've seen Buddhas everywhere. And when you see the size of them, the work that's gone into them, the people who have created them believe in Buddha.
Yes.
And there's many other religions that people who strongly believe that theirs is correct, and everything else must be wrong. The same as you're saying, yours is right, so everything else must automatically be wrong.
But didn't I just say something very important to you, which was that you investigate and assess it with your intellect, your understanding, and you go wherever the evidence takes you. So if the evidence is compelling that it's the truth, would you then accept it? That was my question to you.
I have always been an atheist.
That's not my question. Look,
nothing could convince me otherwise.
No, that's being disingenuous because you.
No, it's not. It's being honest.
Well, because you haven't seen the evidence, have you? I said if the evidence is compelling, would you accept it?
When you say the evidence, I know people who are Jews, and I said they're very religious.
That's not my question.
And they believe 100% that theirs is the only correct religion.
With all due respect.
Same with the Buddhist. He believes his is the only correct religion.
That's not my question, though. You're actually. My question is a very simple one. My question is this: if the evidence is compelling, would you accept it? That was my question.
No, I wouldn't.
So even if the evidence compelled you to accept it because it was unlikely, on balance of probability, to be anything other than from God, you're telling me that you would still deny it?
Yes.
Okay. That's an
So
honest.
as
That's
I
an honest
said,
answer.
that's your position. That's fine. I mean, you are actually demonstrating the attitude that you have. This is your own personal attitude. Everyone has attitude. When I say attitude, not in a negative sense. This is your own state or position, right?
Yeah.
This is the same position some of the people at the time of the messengers took. They were compelled to see the evidence is true, but they didn't accept it. The evidence is in front of them. They saw the sea parted, and there's a path going across the sea, dry land. They crossed it. Some of them still didn't believe. They witnessed this evidence, they didn't believe. They witnessed lots of miraculous things, but still they didn't believe. So there are going to be people who will believe in this. That's your belief. No one's going to take it away. No one's going to take it away from you. The only thing you're saying is every belief that we have will have its own consequences in the afterlife. It may be happening in this life as well, if God so wishes. But God can give you this road, meaning He gives you the chance,
The opportunity.
the opportunity to come back if you don't take this opportunity, then you, in the hereafter, then when we asked, evidence after evidence was presented to you, opportunities came to you, you saw them demonstrated to you, and you still didn't believe, there you will have no excuse and justification to justify your position. For example, now if we were to ask you to justify your position, logically, rationally, coherently, I'm sure, with my humble little knowledge that I have, that you will struggle to justify your position. I'm quite positive about that. In the day of judgment, to justify your belief to the Creator, what chance do you have?
Against him.
Against him. So that is why we are saying...
Can I put it on a different angle now? I know some people who are Muslims, but he would drink alcohol and say, I know I'm not supposed to, but I like alcohol, but in all other aspects I do the Muslim law. What would his consequences be? In what sense?
If God doesn't...
It depends.
See, I'm saying, if God doesn't forgive...
Does your God forgive?
No, I'm saying God forgives all sins if you repent of them and you die. Let me finish. If you commit any sins and you sincerely repent of that, mend your ways, intend not to do that again, make the effort not to repeat that sin again, and you make good efforts and other good deeds, God will forgive you, God says, okay? Because sometimes you can fall short. But if you persist on it, that means you are not sincerely repenting in the first place. For example, sorry. Is my sorry meaningful? No, because
it's worthless. It's worthless.
Exactly. So if you really sincerely repent to God, God will forgive you. But there is certain sin, as I said, the sin of associating partner with God. If you die without repenting, that's the end of the story. One-way ticket to hellfire. And then, next one. This one who sins, like drinking alcohol and so on,
which is against the law,
God may forgive him or punish him for a long, long time for the sin that he or she has committed. Why? Because that was clearly demonstrated to be a sin. Do not drink alcohol. So the punishment in the hereafter is not like punishment like you're saying. It hurts. No, it's not like this. The severity and the degree of punishment, if you were to see the description, let me give you a description. Why even give you theoretical? The people who are in the hellfire, so hell is a fire. It's burning, right? Hellfire. As soon as their skin is roasted through, God recreates fresh skin so that they can chase, they can, feel the punishment. Why? Because once it's burnt, the nerves are burnt, right? The pain receptors are gone. You won't feel any pain anymore. But God recreates the skin
so you'd always be in
with
pain.
the nerves and the nerve ending and the pain receptors, so you will feel the pain. That's how painful it's going to be. It's not going to be like you're sitting there with some pop stars and enjoying you're watching a movie. No, it's going to be constant suffering.
Right.
And that suffering it's not
your punishment.
So that punishment is something that people should say, look, I should start thinking about it, not to do that because of this. It should be what we call a deterrent effect. So some people can do that, but they know that it's something they're committing there wrong, right? But for you, if you take a position where you know the truth is there is a creator, he is conscious, he's a willing agent, he has energy, he created everything, he is the first cause, he created you for a purpose, he gave you life and he causes you to die, and he gave you life for a reason. He told you to do certain things and you didn't, and he told you there are consequences for not doing that or doing the opposite. Then you make your own destiny of going to a place of torture and suffering and unhappiness. You make your life a hell in the hereafter. If you do that, it's your choice, but God is saying that life is a life of misery because there is no end to the life in hereafter. If you're in hellfire, it's hellfire with no end. Do you really want to be, for example, you know how sometimes we are in pain? Do you want to say, I want to be in pain forever? We say, oh, let it be away from me. Oh, when I'm going to get better, let me go to my doctor. Oh, give me some medicine. Give me some paracetamol. It didn't work. Go back again. Give me some ibuprofen. Didn't work. Give me some morphine. Oh, cut the hand away from me. It's so painful. I am even willing to get rid of my hand because it's giving me pain.
Yeah.
We are so desperate to be happy in the hereafter, in hellfire. This pain, this suffering is eternal. No one wants to go there. God reminds us constantly, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there, so He wants to come towards the place of peace and security and bliss and joy and happiness. What you simply have to do is the God-given faculty that is given, use it properly and say, I am not going to be an arrogant kafir. You know what a kafir is? You've probably heard this term kafir. Someone who rejects the truth knowing it and covers it up. A farmer covers the land, right?
Yeah.
The seed in the land.
Yeah, to hide it.
Yeah, to hide
Yeah,
covers it.
yeah.
So a kafir in Islamic terminology
Yeah.
is someone who knows the truth, recognizes the truth, but wants to reject it and cover it, okay, or deny it. Is
Okay.
knowing that. God is saying, don't do that. Don't be an arrogant individual because you know very well you did not create yourself. I created you. So what is this arrogance about? One of the reasons people don't want to accept God is because of this. Someone I have to worship. Why do I have to worship someone? I am. How can I be someone greater than me? But if you really think and ponder, very early in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, wake up. It's very quiet, everyone's asleep, and start thinking, did I really give life to me? Am I in control of the universe? Am I controlling every atom of the universe? Did I create everything? If I haven't, then you have to accept and surrender something greater than me has. If that something greater than me has given me life, I should be thankful. Let me give you an example. If I have an accident by walking on that road,
Yeah.
I am bleeding to death, and you take me to the hospital.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
I'm in a coma,
Yeah.
right? I needed blood. I don't know anything about that. I hear from him a week later when I came back to my senses. He says, you know what happened? As you were run over by this car,
Yeah.
you were totally unconscious, you were bleeding to death. This gentleman, he took you to the hospital. He left everything, his appointments, his friends, his
yeah.
family. He was there constantly with you. I needed blood. You gave me blood because it's matched.
Yeah.
My kidney was failing. You gave one of your kidneys to save me.
Because I got two.
You
Yeah.
didn't even know me prior to this discussion,
Yeah.
right? Did you know me before?
No.
We haven't never met. I don't think we've met. But you did this because you are a compassionate human being.
A good man.
You are a good man. So you did this. So you saved me by giving all of this.
Yeah.
And I wake up, you're sitting there in the next room, and I hear from him. What is my natural response to you?
You'd be very
Get
grateful.
lost?
No, you'd be very
I
grateful.
should be grateful. I should at
I've
least
given
say,
you life.
thank you. I should say thank you. This is my natural response. Gratitude. The Creator gave me blood, gave me 2 kidneys, gave me the means to sustain this life.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I be thankful? What's my natural response should be? Thank you. That is the essence of worship, gratitude. So God is asking us to be grateful to Him for what He has given us. Our life and the provision to sustain our life. He's not asking us to do a lot more than that.
Right.
So why are we going to remain an individual and show this pride and arrogance within us? Because this pride and arrogance is one of the reasons that people are still seeing problems in this life today. The first individual who did that was someone called Iblis, Shaitan. He saw human beings were created and God said to all the angels, and prostrate to Adam. It wasn't prostrate of worship, it's just a command God says prostrate to him. So that, to recognize that he is actually greater than you in some form or shape, right? He realized human beings created of clay, and God created me from a smokeless fire. I'm not going to do that. He didn't do that. So when God asked him, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? He says, why am I going to worship, prostrate to someone when I was created from smokeless fire and you created from clay? So he had this pride within him. This pride prevented him from even executing an order knowing it comes from the Most High. He knows God can instantly, vaporize him if God wanted. But his pride stopped him from following an order. pride. So we have to now have this balance and check of ourselves. Are we going to be the slave to our own ego, our pride, our arrogance, or are we going to finally submit and surrender? This is what Islam is, in a nutshell. You submit and surrender. Surrender is something at what point? You realize there is nothing else. You say, okay, that is the only one worthy of worship, and you surrender yourself, your will. So unless we surrender, which is the ultimate reality for us, then we would not be very happy in the hereafter, and the hereafter is a life that is with no end.
Right, but as an atheist, I don't believe in the hereafter. I believe when you're dead, you are dead. Being an atheist does not make me a bad person. I can still be a good person. I can be a doctor for all you know, save many lives.
You believe there is a first cause?
As an atheist, it doesn't stop me from doing that.
But you believe there is a first cause. If there is a first cause, that is the creator.
The beginning.
No, that is the creator. The cause is the creator of our universe. That cause is conscious, that cause is a will, that cause of energy, and that cause, the first cause, has characteristics. This cause is one who communicated to us. This cause is the one who gave us life. So you are not an atheist in any way, shape or form. You already believe in a creator of our universe, the first cause. You already believe that he is the one who created us. So you cannot just simply say I'm an atheist.
I'm not religious in any aspect. I believe when you're
That's
dead,
different.
you're dead.
No, religious and
When you're dead,
non-religious.
that's the end.
My friend, being someone who acknowledges there's a creator and someone who acknowledges and follows the will of the creator to different
Worships
things.
him, yeah.
You acknowledge there's a creator, but choose not to worship anyone.
Yes.
Okay.
And believe when you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
That is the end.
That is the end. That's what
So
you
be
believe.
nice to people when you're here. Because when they're dead, it's too late.
But if death is not the end of it, when the creator says that is not the end of it,
As
then
an
what chance do you
atheist-
have?
As an
You are not
atheist,
an
I believe
atheist.
that is the end.
No, you are not an atheist. You believe in the first cause. You believe this first cause is eternal. You believe the first cause is powerful. You believe the first cause is conscious. You believe the first cause has knowledge and will. You believe the first cause communicates to us because the first cause created us. So what makes you an atheist?
Well, you can't tell me where the first cause came from.
The first
The
cause, as
creator.
we explained earlier, doesn't come from anywhere. The first cause is the
created
cause.
it.
The first cause is the first cause. There is no cause before that. Yeah?
I'm not convinced that I would want to choose religion, personally.
Would you want to choose gratitude against ingratitude? If someone gave you life,
Oh, yeah.
should you not? That's what we're saying. So don't use the terminology of religion because people are often put
I'm
off,
grateful for every day.
put off by religion because religion apparently causes all these problems. Religion apparently caused the First World War. Religion apparently caused the Second World War, which it didn't, right?
No,
So the
Second
most
World War was
most of the casualties in human suffering was caused by
a lot.
non-religion.
Yeah.
Non-religion.
Different religions.
No, not religion, non-religion. Second World War was not a religious war.
No,
So,
no, but a lot of conflicts have been caused over
no, I'm
religion.
saying if you were to now count the numbers of people who died,
Yeah.
who were murdered,
Right.
innocent people that got killed by religious activities, fanaticism and extremism,
Yeah.
compared to secularism, belief in no God or atheism,
Yeah.
the atheism has a bigger number.
Right.
Yeah? Secular ideas, atheistic ideas, has a bigger number of casualties than religious casualties. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to count numbers. What I'm asking you simply is this. I'm not asking you to be religious in the sense of this being extreme.
Yeah.
We are asking you to be what? A balanced individual who is just.
Yeah.
The Quran, no, the Quran says, speak the truth. Be a just witness, even if it is against you and your nearest kin and kin.
Doesn't the Bible say similar?
Maybe. It's the same message from God.
Right.
The Quran spells it out very clearly. You should stand firm in justice. Don't swerve yourself from justice, even if it Is it against you or your family and kith and kin?
Yeah, it's
Now,
just is
so-
just.
So Quran is asking you to be just, and if you follow that way of justice, you're following the way of God. That becomes your way of life. If you follow the way of speaking the truth all the time, then you follow the way of God. Do you want to know? Okay.
Right, isn't that what a good person would do?
Okay.
If you told lies, you would not be a good person.
Exactly. A good person
Would be
should
honest.
have no objection to follow the way and guidance that God has given. Because God gives guidance which is the best for us. And He gives us guidance which is the best of all the guidance in terms of morality and ethics and so on. So God is not going to give us a guidance that you cheat and you kill
No, that
and
would be
you
wrong.
deceive. God doesn't do that. So when God gives us all of this, if you're a good person, you'd have no objection whatsoever. So you would have no reason to disbelieve in this way of life Islam presents to you. So if you believe there's a God,
Christianity would present the same rules.
Christianity
But I'm not a Christian.
could have. But what happened was Christianity has fallen short of being corrupted. So for example, if you ask the Christians, how do we govern our society with economic laws? Should we deal with interest or not?
Muslims don't have interest, do they? They don't pay interest or something.
They shouldn't deal with interest at all. God declares a war against usury and interest. But the world is immersed in usury and interest. So
How would you buy a house?
if you have money, buy it. If you don't have money, rent it.
So if you didn't have money, you could never own a house as a
If you-
Muslim.
If you don't have the money, how can you own it?
In England, in Christianity, you go to a bank, borrow the money,
Huh?
pay the interest.
Why interest? So you're saying it's like this.
Eventually, you'd own the house.
Let's understand what you're saying. So I am in need of something. So I'm already in a weak position. So I'm come to you, please help me. You're the bank. And you say, I've got a victim now. Okay, here is £50,000. Give me 75,000 bucks at the end.
Which is
so,
what he do,
so,
yeah?
so what you did, you took my weakness and you abused my weakness for your greed and you exploited me. Were you a good person?
He'd say it wasn't
No,
greed.
were you a good person?
Yes, you needed the money, I loaned you the money.
No. If you are a good person, you demand the same money back. Why am I going to give you more
No,
money?
because it's taken him 25 years before he gets his money back. And in that time, he's got outgoings, he's got staff to pay, the building to pay.
If you're rich, if you have all the money already,
Right,
let's understand this.
it's a bank.
Say, so you're
It's
not a bank, you're an individual.
No, no, it's a bank.
I'm
You
gonna-
go to a bank.
No, I'm going to take you, you're an individual, right?
Right.
You're quite rich, you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
And I ask for, £50,000. And you say, give me £75,000 back. Now, why would you do that as a good
Right,
person?
it doesn't work there. You go to a bank.
No, I'm asking you. You are an individual. If you demand £25,000 extra, what does it tell you about you being a good person?
That you're running it like a bank, like a company.
Would you still consider yourself as a good person? By abusing my weakness and exploiting me when I was in need? You should have been compassionate. You should have said, you know what? I give you £50,000. If you can't give it back, no problem. That would have been even more sensible, like if you're a billionaire. But if you said, look, I've given you my money, but give me back, that's justice. But if you demand more, that's unjust.
If I demand less than the bank demands,
No, forget
That
demands.
is good.
You as an individual, if you demand the same, that's justice.
no, less than the bank. Otherwise, you go to the
Forget
bank.
the banks. You're confusing the issues of banking. If you demand more than I borrowed from you,
Yeah.
that demonstrates you are committing an act of injustice.
I would say it wouldn't, because I could take that money, give it to a bank, and he'd pay me
We're
interest.
talking about banks again. If you are a billionaire and you saw I was in need, so instead of helping me, what you're doing is you're exploiting my weakness and you're saying you have to pay, you give me a penalty on my head, saying, you know what,
Right.
because I'm being good to you, but I'm going to punish you and I'm going to ask you to give me 25% extra or something.
Right, you're saying a need. If you have a broken leg and you need an operation, that is a need. If you want a house, that's not really a need.
Don't
Let
buy
me-
it then.
Let me £100,000.
No, no.
I want to buy a house.
No,
A need.
no, you've solved the problem. If it's not a need to buy it, don't buy it, rent it. No interest.
Right, but if you're a Christian, you go to a bank.
Christians are not following justice law of justice here. This is the example precisely I've been using. Their dealings are not just.
They are.
Justice
They are
demands that you deal not with interest. Interest is exploitation.
Right.
Exploitation. Exploitation. We need to get this properly. Exploitation.
All right. Another thing, are you allowed to gamble?
Exploitation again. Why would you gamble and
No,
chance?
no, let me finish. What about insurance? life insurance, fire insurance, burglary insurance, car insurance.
There are a lot of things like this on uncertainty Islam doesn't allow. People make a lot of money by this kind of insurance systems. But if something is absolutely necessary in something, then Muslims are maybe compelled to follow certain law of the land.
So you have to have car insurance. That's legal.
Because that's how you're compelled in this land.
Yeah.
But Islam doesn't deal with this kind of uncertainties. Islam says, you know what, you can trade, you can do businesses, and you can have the profit from it. You can have partnership and contracts and say, you know what, you get 25%, I get 25%. This is my expectation from what? With no working. I'm just hoping somehow, by some chance, I'm going to get this money. That's what it is, isn't it? Gambling is just this chance in a system of, it's not really chance, because they know exactly,
Right,
you know, how...
you're talking about gambling as in pack of cards gambling, lottery ticket gambling.
Any kind of gambling.
I want about insurance. If you own a house, would you insure it? Because that is a gamble against it not catching fire.
I have to stop you there. I am not an expert in Islamic economics or insurance system.
No, right.
So
If
I
you
cannot,
personally owned a house-
So I cannot talk about this subject. I have to defer to someone else.
Is it classed as gambling, taking out insurance?
As I said, insurance and so on and so forth. If you want to go into more detail, I'm unwilling to even entertain the conversation. I don't know. Okay, I have to defer to someone who knows. But the basics I am saying is this: coming back to the systems again, there are many systems in the world which are not based on justice. The capitalist system is not based on justice. It's based on people's expectation of weaknesses.
Making money.
Yes, greed, and greed. Islam says no. You can have this desire, but you have to work for it. Once you have something enough wealth, don't be stingy. Don't be, what we call it, like, you know, have it all for yourself.
Hoard it.
Hold it, use it, or give it to someone who can use it. If you have lots of lands uncultivated, give it to someone who will use it if you don't use it.
Right.
If you have a lot of wealth, your wealth,
Should be shared out.
people who are poor and needy, they have a right on your wealth. 2.5% of your surplus wealth. 2.5% of your surplus wealth. So you distribute that, the state will distribute it to the poor because this is a surplus wealth that you have. Okay? But if you don't want to do it, that really shows you're not a decent human being. You're mean.
nasty,
You know what? You, every single time I ask a question, you come up with beautiful answers. Because you
I'm
know
trying to
the
help
answer.
you. I'm trying to
No,
help
I'm saying you know the answers because you are a good person. You are a thinking person. You are a wise person. So the one thing that's remaining from you is this. Sit down in the early morning of the day with no disruption.
No cameras, yeah.
No cameras. And ask yourself, why am I not surrendering to the one who gave me life?
I like capitalism.
So let's end it there and invite you
I'm
to...
gonna warn you out, you wear most people out.
what I'm saying is...
Thank you very much, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Derek.
Derek and Mansur, what I'm saying is, there are
It's
lots...
been a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you. You know, you're a very wise person. You're a very kind person too. So please take it forward and continue reflecting. Open up the Quran and see for yourself and discover for yourself what the Quran has to say to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like a copy of the Quran?
Not really. No.
كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي